It's very hard to do.
What up, Insane Rhetorik? What's going on? Good morning, good morning. You know what it is. The world is upside down and we're trying to make it right side up. We here back with another episode of Insane Rhetoric. Hey, you know what it is. Good morning, sister. What's yanking?
You got it. What's the word, Thunderbird?
I don't know, man. Sure, there's a lot of crazy stuff happening. Pinky and the brain. We're Pinky and the brain. Two are the genius, the other's insane. What's good with it? What's happening? How you been doing?
uh, so my Thanksgiving sucked, but I'll tell y'all about it later.
Can't wait to
Yeah,
hear that.
yeah, that's a good way to start the show. I hated Thanksgiving. Let's keep it moving. So what we got on the floor today? What we dropping on the floor today? What's good? What's green? What's yanking? What we got popping today?
Well, I think we talking about. Hey, okay, we saw. Oh, I'm sorry, y'all. We got some guests on the show today.
Who we got? They look like freaking frack.
Well,
How y'all doing?
we
It's
got
your
Red
girl, Red
Dragon.
Dragon
Oh, she
Poet.
gonna introduce herself. Okay.
I just figured I'd use my anxiety to the good and introduce myself. I
Okay.
am your girl, Red Dragon Poet. And I've had my fair share of relationship moments. Can't wait to weigh in.
Oh my God.
Darn glad
Okay.
to be here.
Okay. How you doing, Tucker White guy? Y'all know he called himself that. Okay.
I'm doing very, very well.
How was Thanksgiving? How Granny doing?
Granny's doing really good. You know, she had a little rough night last night, but that happens when you're 86 years old. So, you know, I had to take care of her a little bit and do some stuff for her. And it is what it is. You know, that's part of my responsibility. So I step
All
up.
right. We
I
like
take
it
care
when
of
Granny
her.
doing good. We
Come
like it
and
when she
listen to
doing
a
good.
story about a man named Jed.
I like it when Granny doing well.
I do too.
She's going to watch this show today.
Is she?
As soon as it's recorded and it's uploaded, she's going to
Oh,
watch.
look at Granny. Granny be
I'm gonna
watching
bring
our
her
show.
on the show one day.
Granny be chilling. She good. Granny good.
She good people. We
Yeah.
love you, Granny.
Hey, come on, Granny. We can put you on the show. We know you got something to say. 83 years, you done live life, baby.
We love Granny. We love Granny.
I bet
Right.
Granny done had her share of relationships.
Yeah.
No, one.
I think she had one.
That's the kind we need to weigh in on. Yeah.
It was a 63-year marriage. It was beautiful.
That's what I'm
They
talking
were
about.
both there first, and
Oh,
they
Mm.
took it to the end.
Yeah, that's
wow. That's
Yep.
beautiful.
It is.
If I know what I know right now, I'm glad I ain't have sex. I'm glad I ain't married my first.
Mm.
Me
That
too.
must-
Because
that
she was
must
not
have been-
pretty.
That must have been horrible.
Well, well, I within the last 7 years, I saw my first. We had a conversation or two,
Mm,
and yeah,
horrible, huh?
I was
But you
like,
know, but you know what?
wow.
But you know what? I bet you did in the time that you met him, from the time that you met him up until now, when you really figured out like who he was as a grown man. You probably had some fun times and some good times when
I
they were
actually
going
did.
when they were going on.
I did. My first was my first actually was a very good man to me. Protective and not in a it wasn't in a controlling way, but I felt very, very safe with him, and we had lots of fun, just being kicking it, at home or
Yeah.
being out and about. Like we had fun. The way we met was crazy.
Yeah.
You know, but see, now I know though. Okay, you know, I just thought of this. Now I know if I meet you and I'm not feeling you like that,
Don't be bothered.
and some people in my life be like, no, go ahead.
Forget them.
I need to be like, I need to run.
Yeah. Like run like Forrest. Run, Forrest.
Run.
Yeah.
I've had two of those in my life.
Hey, but you know, like the bad experiences of okay, so insane rhetoric. Apparently, we're talking about relationships.
We talk
So
about relationships
you know what
today.
I'm saying. So you know, it don't matter if you screwing one or if you just friends with one. But relationships is relationships. Some things complicate them more than others. But we talking about relationships. So like, I mean, you think about relationships. What is relationships built off of in the 21st century? That's the first opening question right there. What are they really built off of?
May I take this one?
Go right ahead.
Oh, you so nice and just gonna ask permission. Keep that up.
My opinion,
Go
my
ahead.
opinion is they have to match your energy. You know, your faith, loyalty, honesty, and you have to have fun. I mean, you know, and it could be in the bedroom, it could be just going out and doing stuff like something they've never done, taking them to another place that they've never been. And you know, it's one of those like really fun times when you get to see somebody smile because they've never been to a place that you take them to, or I get to be happy to a place that I've never been to that they take me to. You know, it's honestly a really beautiful moment, and
Okay.
I think that's very important. You know, it's not just like everything that everybody expects, but you have to find that right person, and I have.
Ooh, do tell.
Yeah.
You've talked to me on the phone.
Oh, we talking about. Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. I forgot about. Oh, yeah. Okay. I didn't know we was. Okay.
Yeah, let's go.
Well, that is very nice when it's nice, when it's right. But before you find the right one, some of us go through a series of wrong ones. And I want to weigh in on that shit because I'm a
But you might be
constant roller coaster.
you're not the
Different
common
personality.
denominator though. Oh.
You know what? That is so funny. Yes and no. On to be real, yes and no. Because at some point you do have to stop pointing fingers and look within. But while that ball was rolling, no, it wasn't my fault altogether. So when you say what is relationships built on, well, I'm a 70s kid. So for me, relationships was pretty much built off of what I saw around. And even though that was another generation, I wanted that for myself because that's what I saw. That's what I was surrounded by. So me being an impressionable female, fresh, sheltered, no street sense at all, but this is my ideal up here about what a relationship should look like based off my environment. So I go out in the world or sneak out into it, and I'm looking and trying to take that image of what I saw and paste it on what's out there amongst my generation. And let me tell you, it ain't never what you think it is, because your generation is just that. Everyone is going through trying to find themselves. So to try and stick a mature, healthy, fully evolved image on something that ain't there yet, it's a recipe for disaster. It really is. And I think that that is the jump off point for a lot of women that make bad choices because they grew up and what they saw was what they either felt they needed to have, and that could have been dysfunctional, or they saw something that was an illusion. Because, you know, back then in the 70s, it was pretty much, it had saved face on the outside, but don't nobody know what's really going on the inside. So a lot of times I think we take what we see and we run out here and we try to and get that without really finding out who we are first. And that could be a dysfunctional perspective if you're not loved right, if you are abused, because I think that's the gateway for us to say my relationship may be based off of trauma or a trauma bond or drug use or somebody that's suicidal and we're sympathetic for each other. That can be something where a lot of people feel a relationship, that's the foundation, that's what it is. And I think that's where a lot of women feel he got to go upside my head, show me that he loved me. Yeah, that's what love is. So I think that that's where a lot of us get our perspective from about a relationship early on. And for some of us, it never changes. For most of us, yeah, we keep beating our head up against the wall or get beat up against the wall so many times, something clicks and we start looking for outside of what we know. And then as we take that journey, it's like we start to figure out what we like, what we don't like. Well, some of us, you know, so it just all depends. How much do you want to evolve, or how much are you going to keep lying to yourself?
Well, there's a passage in the Bible that says this. It says, you don't put old wine into a new wineskin because it will burst. It won't contain the old wine because it's aged, it's matured, and it has gone through the process of time. And what most people do in relationships, they tend to bring old things from previous relationships into things that's new and expect it to work the same way. 90% of the problem is people don't have standards and borders that they put up when it comes to creating relationships. And when you have a person that you just see, oh man, it's like she fine, he fine, and I'm gonna see what they can do and what type of money they got. You are already building your perception the wrong way because it is people that's out there that have plenty of money, but they are plenty crazy. You know what I'm saying? Because
Yeah.
they have the money, they think that they can do what they want to
Mhm.
whoever they want. But it is a self-esteem issue for anybody to stay in a relationship that is compromising to their life. I don't care how much you think you love that person, because when it comes down to it, eventually it's going to get pushed so much that they might try to do something to you that's life ending because you never stood up and said, I'm not going to take that. That goes back to my standards and our borders, what you are willing to accept. And today's society, it ain't nothing. It ain't nothing. It ain't like when we were growing up, it was built on values, truth, morals, the things that we're trying to accomplish. Man, relationships now, if you ain't got the right person, is built on what I can get from you.
Mhm.
So according to healthline.com, there are 12 signs of love, romantic love in a relationship. This is how you know. You feel safe with them. they listen. So you're listening to each other, basically. You're acknowledging your differences instead of trying to change each other. You can communicate easily. And that might involve discussing emotions, identifying and addressing areas of conflict, connecting through physical and emotional intimacy, checking in about relationship boundaries, and tuning into signals in body language. You encourage each other to do your own thing. You trust each other. You make an effort. So that includes prioritizing time together, expressing an interest in getting to know each other, being prepared to talk through disagreements or conflict, agreeing to try new things together, expressing their commitment to mutual growth as partners. You know that you can collaborate and compromise with each other. One of the two, like you're able to, you know that you can do that with each other. You help each other get needs met. Health, finances, stress, problems at work, like you help each other get things met. You respect each other. That includes honesty, clear, prompt communication, polite and considerate language, even during arguments. No pressure to set boundaries. One's not trying to pressure the other one to set their boundaries aside. You may be compromising some things, but you're not being pushed to set your boundaries aside. And you're seeing these things every day. Like you're witnessing these things in your relationship every day. You each want the best for the other. So
I can agree with that. I mean, in life, you don't always have those needs met, and I'm gonna say this: the problem with some relationships, not all, is somebody is talking more than the other one is listening. And when you have that type of issue, then you can't get nothing done. You can't be in the same book on the same paragraph on the same sentence line. It just doesn't work. When you don't respect a person for who they are, then you're not going to pay attention to them. You're not going to listen. You're not going to try to find out what they do or what they're trying to do. You just going to do what you want to do and try to move forward. But then there's no point of being in a relationship, because one of the foundations of relationship is building. You know what I'm saying? And the only way you can build is you find out what that person is good at. Most of the time, well, 90% of the time, of the things I have ran through in life with relationships is that the other wants to change the other. If you don't accept who that person is, you are already at odds with each other from beginning, because you don't have no value in who I am. So if I want to change a person in that I'm in a relationship with, that means that I don't really truly love who that person is, because I'm trying to get something different than what I have. And that happens a lot because people are like, oh, I want the thick one over her, but I want her to be thick. Now, wait a minute. A lot of them thick, but a lot of them are clueless.
I'm sorry. Adult Sesame Street. What is thick?
Uh, thick
Sounds
means,
like your standards, like what you want,
yeah,
and
like y'all growing up, y'all would call it the perfect shape, 24, 36, 24, whatever the Coke bottle used to be. So that's thick, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so when
36, 24, 36.
36, thank you. So yeah.
She's a brick house. Oh, I'm
There
sorry.
you go. There you go. Over 70 something.
She's mighty. Just letting it all hang out. She's a brick. Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
Brick
Gotcha.
house.
Okay.
So yeah. So
Lady stack.
right.
Ain't holding nothing back.
Nothing back.
Chico down with your bone. Chico bone. Oh, okay, I'm sorry. She's a brick. Oh, I'm sorry.
So yeah, so when you think about that, when they thick, like they can be thick and be straight clueless. You know what I'm saying? They don't have nothing upstairs to offer you in they head. The only thing they looking for is trying to get the next bag. Bag meaning money. You know what I'm saying? They ride on the coat. They ride on the coattails.
That's like a professional hoe I know of.
There you go. So there you go. So
y'all, let me tell y'all about her. Okay, I'm sorry. You gotta hear about this professional hoe. Okay. Now that I know the difference between a whore thought and a prostitute.
Yeah,
y'all go back and listen to the thought theory.
We did that show.
Okay. So let me tell y'all about this professional hoe that I know of. Okay, so this professional hoe graduated from an Ivy League school, got a law degree. Okay. They married a very, 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 super, very, at that time that they married them, professional athlete, like Michael Jordan status athlete, but in football. Okay. I could give you a stat, but then you'd be able to narrow it down. So okay, I won't do that. Okay, let's just say this. It's not Herschel Walker. Okay.
Speaking of Herschel, how is he doing these days in that runoff?
It's not
it ain't.
Okay, so anyway, so she went from her daddy's house to married to this man. She was only married about 2 years and they divorced. She married again, but this time she stayed married 2 years. Again, that's her track record, 2 years. But this time she got a baby. That's how I know about it, because this is a close personal friend of mine who ended up having to pay her $8,700 child support.
To the man?
Yeah.
Good job.
No, the man paid her. The man paid her 80 because she had a baby. She's married 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
Because she was even trying to get the money that belonged to his older daughter, who was from a previous dead wife.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. She was even trying to get that money.
And
she didn't get it.
That's what I'm saying. So you riding out there, and I heard you, sister, you riding out there and you trying to grab onto somebody else's success to fund you. You know what I'm saying? That ain't.
So the daddy bought a car, BMW. The sports figure bought her a car, BMW. The lawyer, married to the lawyer, bought her a car. Okay, 2 years, she gets a baby, she leave. $8,700 child support. Okay, then she go get another man, again, wealthy man, 2 years married, pregnant. They divorced. Now she gets some more child support.
Yeah, I mean, it ain't no different. I get it. It ain't no different than women having kids and having the government take care of them.
But ain't you know what? It's the same in how we look at each other and judge when we all doing the same thing, just on a different level.
But we all ain't doing the same thing, because
well,
some people,
she hoeing.
No, but I'm saying in general, we're not just talking about that situation. We're talking about in general. We all ain't doing the same thing. Some people are out here actually building legacy for themselves. And then you married to somebody and they trying to do the same thing. You know what I'm saying? I know people who are married who got they are VPs in companies. You know what I'm saying? And their wives are VPs in companies. They're building something as a unit. But when you have a freaking taker, which a lot of women are takers and guys that's deliberately having kids to trap a guy, that ain't no who wants to be with somebody like that. I know a person that's 25 and 5 kids.
So
And you jamming, you don't never have your kids. You jamming, trying to get you another bag from somebody else.
what were you trying to say, token white guy?
I was gonna say, like, you and I actually talked about that this week on our phone call about that girl that met in college. She was 23, I was 21, and she had two different kids at 23, and then she reached out to me, and she had two other kids with two different fathers. So she had 4 children with 4 different dads, and I'm like, I'm not going to be daddy number 5. Like, the girl I'm talking to now, 0 kids, loves me, makes me feel happy, and she's one of the only people that has ever made me feel that I can just like be calm, and it's a very interesting experience because I've never had it before.
Man, I want to know this. How you gonna take a girl out that got 6 kids like Bebe's kids? Who finna get a babysitter for all these ninjas?
I'm not paying for that shit. That's baby daddy's problem, not mine.
And it ain't even his problem because she ain't with him.
Well, I don't care. Like,
no, I'm just saying it ain't his problem
she's
because
the one getting the alimony and child support. I don't want any part of that.
Not, but you know what? I ain't even talking about on that stage of the thing. I'm talking about in the hood right now. If you got chicks in the hood that's screwing everything under the sun to get kids by guys to try to lock them down under child support for the next 18 to 21 years, depending on what the gender of the kid is, that's crazy.
I'm out. No way.
That's crazy.
I'm not sticking my dick in you. No way.
Well.
Sorry.
The thing about it is you don't know. Cause she hiding it. 90% of the people that's out there, so as you ask them if they got kids, they go, oh no, I ain't got no kids. I ain't got no kids. But you got a tribe of kids. You got a whole Native American just tribe. Everywhere. Anybody that run into you in the street and see you with this chick, they already know they didn't already took it down through there, and one of them probably is.
I'll tell you this, like, there's a beautiful moment when you're with somebody. I met this woman 6 years ago, and I didn't think I had an opportunity with her. She's been mistreated horribly, and she's just not happy. I've never seen her more happy. Like, when I stare directly into her eyes, when I hold her, like, we're both like,
when I look in your eyes, I still go crazy.
I was gonna say, when I look into your eyes.
I swear, but it's pure like elation. We're both so happy, and that's what a relationship should be. When you want to see somebody, when you want to be with them, when I'm not a cuddler. She is like the exception to the rule, and it's just so different for me.
So I have a question.
What's up?
So that goes back to what Red Dragon was saying. The assumption is if a woman has children, whether they by the same daddy or they by 15 different daddies. Woman got multiple children. If she is doing things on her own, she didn't go file for child support or welfare.
Some of us out there like that.
She's struggling.
Mhm.
She might be honest about that struggling too. She might honestly be struggling, and she's just an open book. She says what's true and what's right, but she's not gone to file child support on any of the 15 children. She's not gone to welfare, maybe, unless she needed the help with the medical, medical,
insurance.
getting them to the doctor.
Medicaid.
And so when you
Medicare.
go and do that, they give you all of the rest of that stuff too.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So when she thinks that she's on her feet enough to do without all of those things, maybe now she gets a job where she has the health insurance.
Mhm.
And even though they're pulling so much out of her check for that insurance, she still gets rid of the welfare
Mhm.
and the food stamps and the this and the that because she's got the job.
Right.
And she takes care of the children. And she may struggle. She probably have trouble making those rent payments. She probably have trouble making sure she got enough every month to feed the 15 kids. But she can't get a man that would really actually help her and be her partner and not use her because other men used her and she figured out, okay, they fucking used me, they lied. Oh, did I say that word? I'm sorry. No,
I've said
sorry.
it multiple times. Like, you're okay.
But what I just heard from both of you, that she's not worthy of having a man actually look at her and actually go in and try to be her partner to help her.
Let me be clear.
It was all
that.
about what she couldn't do for him. That's what you both said.
No, let me be clear about that. What I'm saying, first and foremost.
But you wouldn't give her a chance. You would not give her a chance off the top because of that.
Hold on. I wouldn't give her a chance because she lied about it. Now, if that person was honest and forthcoming about what the situation is, then that's different. Secondly,
sounds like you backpedaling because if
hold on, let me talk.
If they have more than 5 kids, they wasn't.
Hold on, let me talk. Sit back.
Okay.
So, what I'm saying to you, the first thing I already addressed. The second thing, I don't have no problem with a woman going to file child support on a guy. Because firstly, it's his responsibility to do what he needs to do. Now, that is the extreme. If you got a guy in your life and he's in your life and he's doing what he needs to do for his kids, more power to you and keeping white people out of your business.
But what if she figured out that they full of shit and she just don't want to have anything else to do with them at all? She don't want to file child support.
No, but I'm just
she don't want them in the children's life.
That's what I'm saying.
She just want to raise her kids.
That's what I'm
righteous.
saying. That's fine. That is totally fine. But my thing is, you don't give a false perception up front and then expect them to do something different from your false perspective.
Well, can I chime in on that when you say false perspective? Because just because she got 15 kids don't exactly mean she hoeing.
That ain't what I say. That ain't what I say.
Because no.
No, when I say a false perspective, what I'm talking about is the simple fact that you presented something
right,
to me,
exactly,
and then you saying this is something different than what you presented.
But if a woman has multiple children, did you all not gather the assumption that if they got 6, 7, 8, 9 kids and they got all these different all these baby daddies. That was the bottom line.
You missing the
It was
connection.
under
I
the
said that she said that she told
okay,
him that we didn't know. She
okay,
said
no,
she
no,
did, and you
just based
found
off
out.
the fact that you see multiple baby daddies, you
But
see
you
more
don't see
than
that.
2
That's what I'm trying to
children.
tell you. When you
You see,
meet a chick, when you come up and meet a chick, the average person when they
can
meet
I
somebody
finish my
ain't finna tell
point?
you how many
Can
baby
I
daddies
finish
that
my
they
point? Can
have.
I finish my point?
Maybe
If you
if
see,
it's valid.
if you stop interrupting, I will.
Well, this is my
If
show. I can
you
interrupt when I
see
want to.
multiple baby daddies, multiple children, it's automatically assumed, oh, she loose because they just falling out the cooch. They
No,
ain't somebody I want to
everybody
get
don't
linked
think
up
like
with.
that.
No,
Everybody don't think
can
like that.
I finish my point?
But everybody don't think like
The
that. I don't think that's a
perspective,
valid
the
point. It's not a valid
perspective.
point concerning what
Yes,
we're
well,
saying.
if I can make it, it really would be.
But it makes no sense because everybody don't have that assumption when they meet somebody with 15 kids. You don't know
A
what
lot of
happened.
people do
But you
because a
saying
lot
there's a difference. Let's be clear. You
excuse
understand
me,
words. Let's be clear.
excuse me.
You understand
Generally
words. There is
speaking,
a difference.
generally speaking,
There is a
if
difference
someone
between
sees
many. There's a difference
multiple
between
baby
many and
daddies
all.
or multiple children or whatever, it is automatically assumed generally that
No,
that person has,
no.
okay, they got too many kids, they got too many baby daddies, that's too much drama, that's too much going on. Generally, that's the conception. Man or woman, you got too
That's not
many
true.
kids,
That's
it's
not true.
automatically assumed.
That's not true
But
because then you have to
once you
go into the
start,
mind of people and say that's what they believe, and that's not
you
always
get
true.
to know that person and that story, just like Ice had laid it out. Yeah, they got this, but they're doing this, they're doing that. They're not trying to chase no bad. They're not. And there is women out here that may have had multiple children, but at some point, okay, they woke up. It's like, look, you know what? Some women can have the relationship where, look, I ain't finna put the man in this. Me and you was grown. We did this. I just want you to do this for them. And if you can't, whatever. Some people are strong enough to do that. Some people, they just have that influence. Girl had these kids with these type of men, get their child support. You do have that on, but the general consensus is when you see that off the bat, you automatically think, man, that's a lot of drama. Look at that tribe going over there. Without really thinking what would the dynamic.
And the
Because
reason I can
until
say
you
that,
sit down and get to know that person, then it's like, well, damn,
the reason
you know
I
what?
can say that,
I was
because I
misled.
experienced that in school. When I was
I've
in school,
experienced it too, which is
and what
why
I'm
I'm
saying to you,
saying that the
what
general
I'm saying to
consensus
you,
with somebody sees
that is
multiple
not
children
everybody's
and multiple
perception.
baby
That is
daddies,
not
they assume
everybody's
that's
perception. That is
drama or
definitely
that
not
person
every
is
man's
loose
perspective
until they
because
get
I
to know
know
their
people,
story.
I know men who have took on 10 kids.
Me too. I know
So
a lot of
that
men
ain't
that,
every
so
you
that's why I
cannot say that's
said that is
everybody's
the general
perspective.
consensus
It is
until
not.
they get to know them.
It is not. That's
How
what I'm
many
trying
men
to
you
tell
know
you. It is
willing to
not.
take care of 15 kids
I
that
know a
ain't
lot.
theirs?
I know a lot because I got guys who do it, and half of them ain't even theirs. So that's what I'm trying to tell you that
I
is not the
said that
general.
is
It
the
is not
general
the.
consensus.
It is
It's a
not.
lot of people that
See,
would not.
this is what you
It's a
got
lot
to
of
understand.
people that
This
I
is what you
know
got to
that come
understand.
from really good
This is what
families.
you got
The
to
first
understand.
thing that they would say when
First
they're
of all,
looking for the ideal mate is that they would
hemisphere.
prefer is they don't have
We
kids.
are in the Western Hemisphere. This is what you have to understand.
I know where we at, but I'm saying there is still people that have that general idea when they start a family. They don't want nobody to be already having kids.
Your scope
There's a
is
lot of people
limited.
that feel that
Your
way.
scope is limited to where you
My
are.
scope is limited to my experience, and my experience is with people that have said when they want an ideal mate and they come from great families, and they could be families with blended families, but their thing is, this is what I feel is ideal.
But
okay,
that's
so
what I'm trying to tell you.
you
If
can't
your
say
scope is
everybody
limited
feels
to
this way
your
or
scope, you
everybody.
said it. You
All
said
I'm
it. Your
saying
scope is
is there are
limited to
people that
your
feel this
experience
way.
and
There's
your
people that
location.
feel
But
this
you
way.
got people all over the world in different
Right,
cultures
and I'm
that
saying
bring
that
on
there's
other
some
people's
people that might
children.
feel this way as opposed to everybody feel, hey, let me go on here to help out. I don't mind. Okay, yeah, there's some people like that, and there's some people be like, oh, no, my brother, that's too much.
Many people.
And then you got some on the middle that's like, look, you know what? There's a story behind everything.
You have Indian people that have kids from other different tribes that take on their children. That's what I'm saying. Your scope is limited to your experience and where you are. When you venture around the world, when you venture around the world,
in that category that
so
will do it and some that don't. Generally, a lot of people will look at that and say no.
You cannot say
Am I
generally
wrong?
when you don't know the multiple the
You're
masses
telling me
of
what
people.
I don't know, and I just
I'm
told
telling you, you don't
generally
know
a
the
lot of
multiple and
people
the
don't
masses
do
of
it,
people.
and some
You can't
people
say
feel
that.
it's okay. It just depends on who you are and what your perspective is about an ideal mate. Because some people
like
think it's cool and some people think it ain't.
That all women are bad. I can't
Did you
say
just hear
that.
me say some people think it's cool and some people don't think it's not? I'm saying you do have a mix of people that feel that's not cool, and you got a
I don't
mix
like
of
the
people
word
that
general.
feel it is.
I don't like the word general because general
Okay, just
categorizes
because you
so
don't like it
all of
doesn't
people.
mean that what
But
I'm
they're
saying
saying
is
all
wrong.
people. That's almost saying
Just
all
because you
people.
don't
Now
like what I'm saying doesn't mean what
many.
I'm saying
You can
is
say
wrong.
many. You can say
Just say
many,
you
but
don't like
all
the
you
way I'm
can't.
saying it.
You can say many, and I would agree with you. Many do.
This is a
But
very
when you
narcissistic
generalize it and
argument
say that's
because I
basically saying
feel like you
all,
want
and
me
all of them don't
to
have that
like
perspective.
buy into that, and
They
I'm
don't
telling
have
you,
that perspective.
there's a
So
mix.
we can't say that because we
Who's
don't
not
know the
listening
masses
now?
of
So,
Didn't I just say this?
excuse me, me and Tucker White guy, we tired.
Ah!
Y'all tired? Good job.
Ah!
Because we're not having a discussion that is helpful to our listeners.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
I'm just saying.
That
I'm
is
just
a
saying.
very heated topic. We're very passionate about it.
It ain't even that. It's just a simple fact. When you talk about the building blocks of relationship, what you accept from a guy is not what the normal guy is going to accept from anybody else. And that's all I'm simply saying. How you go into seeing about what you want in a relationship is your design. And nobody else holds that type of design. You might like a guy with big feet.
You choose who you want to date. You choose who
Right.
you want to date. And I agree with you on that. I don't disagree with any one of you on any of those topics, but I want to let Ice get in here and talk about what her perspective is, and then I'd like to follow up with that.
So before I say that, Token White guy, Fire brought up the Bible earlier. So when I was a young woman, I was determined that I was very active in the church, and I was determined that I was going to be a particular type of woman for a particular type of man that I was prayerful of. And so I studied the Bible back and forth and back, top and bottom, about what type of attributes I needed to have, because I thought that the foundation of my relationship needed to be that we both were Christian people. I didn't say religious. I said Christian people. Okay. That if we both came from that basic belief that the rest of those things that we talked about earlier, those 12 things, would fall in line. That was where my head was, and kind of still is. But when he talked about the Bible earlier, it made me pull up the exact verbiage of what love is according to the Bible. I said, according to the Bible. Please don't tell me about any other spirituality, whatever. I said, just according to the Bible. It comes from 1 Corinthians 13, verses 4 through 8. Love is patient. Love is kind. It does not envy. It does not boast. It is not proud. It does not dishonor others. It is not self-seeking. It is not easily angered. It keeps no record of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices in truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always preserves. Love never fails, but where there are prophecies, they will cease. Where there are tongues, they will be stilled. Where there is knowledge, it will pass away. And so I try to follow this in pretty much any close relationship that I have where I feel like I love you. Now, and I say it close because I tend to try to love everybody in a Christian manner. But in those relationships where I feel a close bond with you, whether it be a romantic relationship or a friendship, if I feel like I love you, I try to follow this. So me and Fire got into a conversation the other day. Okay, so I wrote a Dear John letter. Dear John, I got to solve everything today. Dear John.
By the time you read these lines, I'll
be gone.
Never heard of it.
Life goes on.
Goes on.
Right or wrong.
Okay.
It was an old show. It was a good show.
Okay.
So I wrote a Dear John letter. It didn't start off Dear John. It started off Dearest someone else. So this was a person.
Did you have some explicities in there?
I did not.
Dear.
No, I did not. I did not. I did not.
Okay.
So, and you know I didn't because I read it to you.
Yeah, I know.
So here's the deal. When I finished reading the letter, Fire said, wow, that was nice. You didn't cut them down. You just told them all the things that would uplift them as you said goodbye.
Yeah, I mean that's the best way to do things. You know, I am an avid for morally rightness. I don't like the English how I put it, but you know what I mean. And when you think about if you are a person who follows Christ, the Bible says this, it says, let this mind be in you that was also in Christ Jesus. Matt, me and you talked about that, you know what I'm saying, how we supposed to adhere to what God wants us to do. Christ never talked bad about anybody. He tried to help them and build them up in every situation. And that's why when Ice told me and read that letter to me, it was one of the best things because in relationships, when things get to go awry, the first thing we're going to do by human nature, because that's the way we were designed, is to start to cut somebody down. You know what I'm saying? And we have all been in relationships when people have tried to belittle us. But the thing of it is, if you see that, and that goes back to our standards, big sister, if you see that, are you going to continue in that, or are you going to move forward and move on? People
Right.
get stuck in places because they like the physical things that people were doing and not concerned about the inner person. And that is the problem.
So I wasn't getting all of those 12 things. I wasn't getting any of those 12 things. I wasn't getting them. And this person had declared that I didn't ask them to declare this. I was just living life. And this person had declared, they heard me make a comment to someone else. And then they didn't like the fact that I was kind of saying, and I was actually joking, but they didn't like the fact that I was saying that I was going to go find me a boyfriend because I was looking cute that day. That was kind of the gist. And they said, well, wait a minute, I thought that's what we were working toward. And I said, oh, we are? And they said, yeah, that's what we're working toward.
Are you still going to get your brownstone?
I guess not, because I sent a Dear John letter.
Oh yeah, I guess that's over.
So listen to this and tell me what you think of this, guys. I had a few moments and began to think about you. I've thought about the past year and how much I've cherished and just plain old had fun. I usually send a simple note in the mail, but this will have to suffice. Thank you for being in my life and showing me what I have to look forward to. Thank you for the fun, laughter, and love. Thank you for your forgiveness, too. I am grateful. Forgiveness, because this relationship had it had the potential to get tumultuous, but there were conversations that led to forgiveness. So that's what that was about. I'm grateful for our time together and the opportunity for us both to have the conversations we needed to have. I'm grateful for you. My favorite thing about our reconnection this year was being in the presence of a man who was secure in his manhood, which allowed me to walk safely in my femininity. I absolutely loved not having to exert masculine traits because I was with you and safe. The time spent with you allowed me to breathe. Thank you. Being able to forgive and to talk gave me an opportunity to grow, but it also gave me an opportunity to let go and allow my heart to be open to possibilities again. I wish only the best for you and will continue to pray for you. Please know that you will always have a place in my heart as we both move on with our personal lives apart. I've been blessed to know you, and I've been made a better person because of you, because of knowing you. Thank you to my dear old friend.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. Hey, and the reason it's wonderful is here's my insight on that. Old woman that I knew, I was her grandson, and she said that being good to people when they're bad to you is like putting hot coals on their head. It's actually a Bible verse. And what that means is when you're trying to pull away from people, it is easy for a person to let you go when you're going off on them because they don't want the negativity. They like, oh, well, she figured it like this and get the roll in their head and snapping their fingers. You know what it is. You know what I'm saying? So, but when you do good to a person, in spite of what they have done to you wickedly, then they don't know what to say. That's a harder pill to swallow. Because if you arguing, it takes what? It takes two to argue, right? It takes two to argue. But if you're just saying, okay, no, I'm not going to do that, and however you feel is however you feel, I'ma just detach from her. We had good times, just like she put in her letter. He's going to think about that for the rest of his life.
But why do I have this? Is so this is where I want to go with this. And hopefully y'all go with me.
Do you want
Why?
to go?
Okay, listen.
I feel like you killed him with kindness, to be
Yeah.
honest.
Yeah, definitely.
If I got a letter like that after treating somebody like shit or not respecting them in the way that they are deserve to be respected, that would destroy me.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. That's and that's the way we supposed to do things, because like we got this. Me and my sister on her talks about it a lot. We talk about karma and how things come back and get you.
Oh, they'll bite you like a fucking snake in the
You know
grass.
what I'm saying? It's a law in physics also. It's called the law of attraction. You know what I'm saying? What you put out into the world is what you gonna get back. The killing part about that is it's not gonna come back to you the same way you put it out.
I dated a lot of girls that were. I'm sorry, Ice. If you have something you want to say, I don't want to cut you off.
No, I was just suggesting. Go ahead.
Beautiful women that have been looked at by many of my friends and like, damn, dude. They're like, you pull some pretty good looking girls. And I was looking in the wrong places. Like their attractiveness was very beautiful. However, I didn't find the full package. And the girl that I am with right now, she's maybe outside of other people, and I don't care. Outside of other people's perspectives, she may not be as attractive as I see her. I don't care. I don't give a flying fuck what anybody thinks about. It's my relationship. You don't have to be with her. You don't have to sleep with her. You don't have to do shit with her. She's mine. Like it's my choice. It's our relationship. So I'm going to be with whoever the fuck I want. And I'm not going to give a fuck what you think. I don't care.
Yep.
Her soul, I love her to her core. And I am physically attracted to her. But I love her to her core. And right here in the center is where your heart is. And that is the biggest part of her. And she deserves the absolute best. So, do I care about your opinion? I mean, lay it on the table. I'm gonna throw it away. I don't give a fuck.
I got a question for the two women on the show today. I'm gonna start with my sister, and then Red Dragon. You can answer from that point. What is the first thing that a woman wants from a man in a relationship, Ice, from your perspective, and far as what you want from what your perspective is?
So I said it in the letter. I need to feel safe. That doesn't mean that I want you to go around fighting and carrying on in the bar and whipping people up, and that's not what I'm talking about. I need to feel safe.
Okay.
That you are my protector, that there is nothing I need to, even though I don't want you going out there jumping in front of a bullet for me, I
Right.
need to feel like
That you would.
that you think you might,
Mhm. Mhm.
you
Okay.
know, that you're gonna put that effort in, even if both of us getting attacked, and I'm knowing me, I'm probably gonna try to protect you. But you know, I have that false sense of the way you treat me on a day-to-day basis, you're treating me as if you want to protect me and love me in that manner.
Right.
Okay. And so therefore, like I said in that letter, I would say 95% of women can fucking take care of themselves. Oops, I'm sorry.
Mhm.
I'm sorry, Auntie. I know you're watching. I'm sorry. I would say 95% of us can take care of ourselves.
Mhm.
Like, we know we can take care of ourselves, and whatever we can't do, you know, if a rapist gonna get us, he gonna get us, whatever. But we can try to protect ourselves. We can try to, we're not
Mhm.
mamby-pambies. We can pick up the box. We can do what we
do
gotta
it.
do.
Right.
Okay. But for me, I don't like having to exert that type of masculine energy all the time. I love being a woman. Okay, I didn't like having a period. But the rest of that, I love. My favorite thing to do is go up in the spa and have people rub on me and pamper me and just, I love to go shopping. I love to talk about girly things.
We ain't shopping together. We already talked about that shit.
Okay. I want to submit to a man. I want him to lead me.
Okay.
I don't mean slap me around,
Right.
tell me what you better do. I mean, as the Bible says, we're talking about the household, we're talking about our life. You're considering what I say, we're walking as a team together. But the moment we step out the house, I'm not trying to make sure everybody else know that he gonna do what I say. Nope. When we step outside the house, whatever he say, whether I like it or not, he done said it. When we get back in the house, baby, dear, why you say that, miss?
Mhm.
I'm still strong. I still say what I gotta say to this man.
Right.
But I don't have to emasculate a man.
Right. Right. So your point, Red Dragon, what is the center point that you think that you would want first, that you look for in a man?
I would agree, protection, but stability. Taking a stock of what I've experienced and what I've seen in people close to me, stability and protection just go hand in hand. And for me, that's a deal breaker. Like, I need to feel like I that you looking out for me, because I can do that for you. It's got to be equal exchange of energy on that. Stability, I'm gonna put it to you like this. I guess it goes back to what, we've seen it in our environments growing up. Despite being in a dysfunctional environment, it was stable. I can literally set a clock to how things went. And going out into the world, I'm very all over the place. So for me, stability is important. Even though I may not have a lot of it, I do practice the majority of it in spots that are most important to me. And so when I'm looking, or when I'm with someone, that energy is just, that stands out. I need to feel protected, and I need to feel that we're stable, that that I don't have to be constantly on eggshells, and I'm already anxious, so I don't need my anxiety being on 600 when I'm with you. I need you to be my calm because I'm already ready enough for the both of us.
Okay, so
I-
go ahead, talking white guy.
I was gonna say I have a male's perspective on that for a healthy relationship. I don't need anybody to protect me. I don't need to be with anyone. Who I choose to be with, I want to be with them. And we both bring things to the table, and I've heard this term, it's a relationship is 50-50. That's bullshit. It should be 100 equal. You go in full throttle. You are not taking your foot off the gas. If my girlfriend has a shit ass day at work and she's stressed, baby girl, I got dinner on the table. Like, we have children together and she's breastfeeding, like, let's just say, and the baby's crying. I'll bring our child to you so you don't have to get up. Like, that's how a relationship should work.
I thought you was going to say you was going to rip out your titty. I was like, oh.
Ronnie, god
Oh.
damn it.
Oh.
I cannot deal with you at fucking 7:40 in the morning on a Saturday.
I was like, so okay, so the red dragon.
That's correct. And she makes her own money. She's independent. She's actually pretty fucking strong. And she's done when she graduated martial arts class, she had to take down her own father. And that was her graduation. But I will be her suit of armor. Mm-hmm. I will be the first line of defense.
Right. As well as you're supposed to be. And it makes
me feel safe and comfortable and calm, which is the most important thing for a guy. And she's not using me for the money I make. She's not using me for anything. And this woman is absolutely unbelievable. And, I never made a move, which is weird on my part, but there's a whole different story behind that. I know Ice and Fire know, but
yeah,
go ahead, Fire. I'm sorry.
You're good. So this woman that I used to know who was in my life for forever, Red Dragon, was very smart, intelligent, full of wisdom lady. And the women in my life have always told me the same thing. They said two things. The first thing any woman naturally wants is security. Because everything is hinged. This is hard for me. Everything is hinged on security. If a woman does not feel protected and feel safe, she could never truly love you. Because if you can't get her to the point where she's safe and secure, she would never give her all to you because she's trying to find it in something else.
Or she's protecting herself from you.
Both. And that's the thing. That's why I asked the question. That's why I posed the question. Because, like I said, 95% of people, she was dealing with that percentage with herself, but 95% of women wants to feel secure before they will let go of anything. Here's a prime example. When you start a relationship with a person and you're learning that person, the dynamics are so different.
Because you put your best self forward.
Forward, right. So the dynamics are so different, and you're trying to learn each other. But there are certain things that a woman won't let a man do until she knows that he has her back. It's the same thing on the other side of the table. Even though the man is naturally the protector, there's certain things that that man won't talk about to his woman because he don't know if she's going to railroad him and try to tear him down with something. So everybody has this box that they're in and trying to learn each other on the curve. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like once we get to a point of what truly relationship is and how we are to articulate our relationship with each other, then we truly start to lay a foundation to actually be with each other for a lifetime. And this is my thing. Some people don't understand where they are. Here's the biggest thing, and my sister would agree with me. The biggest thing is this. A lot of people, a lot of people put people in their life that's only supposed to be there for a little while. The people who are supposed to be there in their life for a little while turn out to be long-term people. And that's the difference you got to know. You got to know who's in your life for a lifetime and for a season.
I think that speaks to people in like where they are as individuals, because it goes back to perspective. What was your perspective on a relationship? Was it a healthy one? Was it a dysfunctional one? And then taking that into consideration, you're going to run in that direction until your third eye is open and you start to feel like, okay, what is this for me? What does it mean for me? Instead of what I have grown up seeing or what somebody tried to condition me to believe that that is what a relationship should be like for me. So that's why I'm like, I'm at a point now, I'm not trying to let anybody hook me up. Had that experience where and in doing so, you gain people's perspective of you through the people they try to hook you up with. I
Mhm.
didn't realize that until later on, and I'm still trying to divorce this nigga. So no, I'm never going to do that. And two, I'm not going to be so envious of what I see next door because I'm not behind that door.
Door,
That's
right.
that's I just see that. That's how they present. But
Hmm.
because I have been in situations where people were not what they seem, it allowed me to see, okay, everything that glimmers ain't gold. So I don't need to envy what you got. I
Hmm.
had an auntie, I was engaged to a guy. I said, and the guy said, I want what you and your husband have. I want that for, because at the time me and him were engaged. And my
Hmm.
aunt said, nah, baby, don't want what I have, want something better.
Better.
I didn't
Hmm.
understand that at the time because I
Hmm.
was like, no, this is what we supposed. No, you have to want what is best for
For
you
you. Hmm.
because you don't know what that person had to put up with, hoops they jumped through, or whatever to get to the point of what they at.
Oh yeah,
And you up
exactly.
here trying to put into the universe or manifest that which you see. And a lot of times, like you said, those temporary empowering moments that are only meant for a season because of what you're going through at that time. Well, you might be at a point where you're emotionally and unintelligent and you need that. You're a leech. You don't know how to let go and take it for what it is and move on. So that person is drawn out beyond their season, and the things that were meant to enhance you, now it's like you sucking the energy out of that person because now they done overstayed they welcome. And
Hmm.
because of your dysfunction, because you can't have that balance in yourself to appreciate, like I so graciously put it, I appreciate the season for which you were
Hmm.
meant for me, but now it's time for me to move on. A lot of us don't have that healthy perspective, so we like, I need this is what I need to keep going, and you don't realize, well, no, it was only meant for you a little bit. Now you need to move on and figure something else out.
And that would be true. This is the thing. My sister know I say this on a lot of stuff that we deal with. In the penitentiary, the hardest thing is not being in jail. The worst thing is being in jail and then being put in solitary confinement. Because when you're in solitary confinement, there's nothing else around you but you. So you have to face you. And the problem with people is they don't want to face them.
Man in the mirror.
Michael Jackson said, start with the man in the mirror. If you don't,
Oh,
if you don't take into consideration and evaluate who you are, how can you have a standard? You're going to take on everybody else's standards and morals because you don't know what you want. And the problem with relationships is people are pretentious and they see what looks good to them. Me and my sister had a conversation a while ago. She's going to laugh about this. I said, when men look at women, they're looking at the physical perspective, the outside.
The shell.
When she says she looks and meets people, she looks at the intelligence. But I'm like, you can't see intelligence. you can't see intelligence until you go up and start seeing what they have to say and what's in their mind. And she said, I just talk to people and meet them. And then she came around later and said, yeah, I see what you mean. She eventually said but she didn't know that she knew how she is. She knows that. But then when I presented that to her, she's like, yeah, I can see that. Because
I don't just see you and say, oh, he fine. Like,
right.
Like that's not even because he was like, what about
you do.
He was like, what
we know
he
you
was
do.
like, well, what about Idris Elba? I was like, no, first time I saw Idris Elba, he was on an interview and he was speaking with his natural accent, English accent. And so I looked up because I was like, oh, who is this? And then I was like, oh, you got an English accent. Oh, okay. And he was talking about whatever movie he was talking about. And then when I actually saw the movie and then saw some other stuff he was in, then I was like, damn, he kind of fine. Oh, ooh, and he got that accent. That's why I went there first. But he was talking, and I was interested in what he was talking about. But I want to say this. So this particular Dear John person, whenever throughout this past year, whenever we were around other people, it's interesting. I mean, just random people too. Like not like just my friends or something like that, but just some random people would see the way we engage with each other and automatically assume we were married, that we had been married for multiple years.
But you know what? Like,
but wait a minute, hold on, but here's the thing. Where I knew we belonged together. Okay, I'm sorry.
And you know that is right.
But if he didn't know it, well, then we don't belong together.
Right.
Right. So it was becoming a thing where he was working on the assumption that we don't belong together, but I don't want her to be with nobody else either because she cool. But he has started bringing in, okay, so we took a trip together.
Y'all took a trip?
We took a trip together somewhere. And so
I want to take a trip.
There was a moment during that trip, because the trip actually went very well. Yet another sign we was good together, right? Because we could take this long trip together. Okay. We took a trip together only one incident happened based on some other stuff. But when they finally decided to talk about it, they said, well, some other women that I've traveled with did this to me when this happened. So they were constantly assessing me based on these other women.
Oh.
And what they knew about other women and how other women had treated them throughout whatever. And every time I would come back with something that wasn't like other women, it was as if they couldn't believe that, or there was some type of shock that I wanted to be an adult. And I actually said that. I actually said, listen, now we're going to have an adult relationship. We're not going to do all of that.
Like you said, putting old wine into a new wineskin, it don't work, because that happens a lot when people bring old baggage into new things. You cannot, I mean, absolutely cannot start something new and match it up against something that happened years ago, because
But
it's going to cause friction. It's going to do it.
Everybody has a past.
Right.
You know, and I am not proud of mine. We've talked about it on many other episodes. Not proud of my past, but acceptance is the key. If you do not want to be in a relationship where somebody is going to just throw shit in your face, be like, oh, you did this, you did that. You want to be with somebody who is going to accept you for what you're doing today.
Right.
You know, and I think that's extremely important. You know.
And I was constantly saying that, like, if I think about it right now, I was constantly saying, because I could say something and say, I don't want to apologize again. And I'm like, huh? What you talking about? I'm just saying this. And it wouldn't even be something about them. It would be something about something else, but they felt like it was something coded in what I was saying underneath, that I was saying, putting a dig in on. And I'm like, no.
Because they weren't comfortable with themselves. They didn't know who they are. So I told my sister Ice about a book I read. I don't know if she picked it up yet, but y'all might be familiar with it. It's called The 5 Languages of Love. And how everybody has a love language, and you need to learn the person's love language. You know, it talks about, like, some people are affectionate, you know, they like touch. You know what I'm saying? Some people are wordsmen. They like to hear the words. They like words to be spoken over them. You know, some people are just whatever your love language is. Then once you find out what your love language is, you find out what the other person's love language is. And you deal with that in communicating with them. But when you don't know, and that person has not come to the realization of how and who they are, it makes it difficult to build a relationship. And Token White Guy is right. Everybody got skeletons, you know what I'm saying? But every day ain't Halloween. You don't pull them out.
I used to feel that was normally attributed to women, but recently I've experienced this with men, and it shocked me how men could size you up according to whatever traumatic issue they've had, and ain't got nothing to do with you. And I'm at a point now in my age where I'm 21, and I feel that now.
See, that's what they was talking about, a woman lying.
The Lord is not pleased with you. He is not.
See, by me being 21 and seasoned, I'm 21 a couple of times. I know that.
Yeah, but that'd be twice. 21
I've
times too.
I've been able to recognize that I don't need validation.
That's
I'm
that
not
bullshit.
desperate. Everybody is not as desirable as they think. And so as a man thinketh, so shall he be, even though he broken. He
You know a
might think
Bible
he's
verse?
God give to women. And my recent experience with this man, where they pretty much was traumatized, but I come along, I'm talking yada yada yada, and they have this experience where they're trying to figure, oh, you just want me because no, nigga, don't flatter yourself. This ain't that. I'm hearing what you're saying, and I'm responding based off what I think about what you're saying. That's it.
Here's a
It
question.
doesn't have anything to do with what I want from you.
I'm in class again. Here's a question. I'm gonna
Go
raise my
ahead.
hand so the teacher can look at me. So, to everybody on the panel,
Mhm.
would you date you?
Yes, honey, I date myself every
too.
day.
Me
I
too.
would date
no.
myself. I am a wonderful date. Yes, honey, just go back and listen to date night. I can prove mine.
we
I would
did
date
that.
me on the
Listen,
weekends and
listen.
camping trips.
Listen, and this
I
is what I'm
wouldn't
saying.
fucking touch myself with my own hands.
See, and this is what I'm saying. If you think about it
Mhm.
and take the time to evaluate who you are, would you date you?
Yes.
But see, if you were a narcissist, your answer would be yes, and everybody else would
But
too.
yeah,
See,
but I'm
that's why
saying,
I
I
said,
mean, but
so
I'm
as a
just saying,
man thinketh, so shall he be if
right, I
even
get
he
that. I
broken.
get that. But what I'm saying is, in an honest opinion, because everybody's not narcissists, but in an
Okay.
honest opinion, would you take the time out to date you, to know what you like, and be with you before you committed to a relationship? Because,
I,
like we said, if you learn you,
Mhm.
most people don't know them.
I have a
And
perspective on
Yeah.
and in life, you don't know all the things about you, and you won't know all the things
Right.
about you. So would you date you? Go ahead, talking white guy.
All right. My past, fuck no. Not a chance. I would not date myself. I would not want any part of who I was. Today, absolutely I would, because I've come a long, long way. You guys have seen it.
Yeah.
And we've talked a lot about it in depth, not just on the show, but in person. And, you know, that's one of the things that I was talking to my girlfriend about. And she's like, I am so intimidated by you. And I'm like, why? And she's like, well, I've never had a man. She's been through serious trauma. And she's like, I don't think I could ever overpower you. And I'm like, that's an interesting perspective, because
Why
I'd
would
never
you need to if you acting right?
Yeah.
anyway. And then she's also like, she's been with 6 guys. I've been with 256 women.
Damn.
And she's like, I don't feel like I'm ever going to be good enough.
Granddad, that's a hoe.
I know, but but here's another thing about relationships is like, girls are sluts and whores, and men are just fucking pimps and
Awesome.
ballers and
Mhm.
players.
Yeah. High fives. Mhm.
It's a whole different perspective. It just,
Yeah.
I mean,
So
it's the truth. I mean, if I was a woman, you all be looking at me like, you fucking hooker.
That's what I
and,
was saying. Generally speaking,
you'll
that
be an
would
ugly
be
woman.
right. But see, up until we either had a few drinks or got to know you, then be like, man, she ain't that bad. She cool
You know, I never had that problem.
people.
so
I never,
I'm glad you didn't.
never. When I am solid, I am solid even when before things
You're looking for your
happen in the club. I would tell you about yourself to your face, and then if I did have anything extra, I would tell you about you to your face the more. Because I started to see different things about you that I don't like.
So, so asking me about whether or not I would date myself, yes. So I date myself every day. I think about myself and how I could be a better me every day. In my relationships with people, my conversations with people, I assess those conversations after the fact to make sure that I was the person I should have been in that conversation. I don't have a problem getting dressed up, put my makeup on, get dressed up, looking cute, and go to the swankiest restaurant, 5-star restaurant, and sit in that bitch by myself with my napkin and have the greatest time
ever.
And then turn around to the people sitting next to me and be just sitting up there talking and hold conversation, and then come back and then come home and learn how to and figure out how to fix whatever that was I ate in that restaurant too. Like, I don't have a problem sitting up and going to the actual movie theater alone, because I can get the popcorn exactly like I like it, with my hot sauce and my jalapeno peppers and my popcorn salt and my butter. And I don't have anybody talking about what choices I put in, what kind of things I put in my popcorn.
Who the fuck puts jalapenos in popcorn?
No.
I do.
I done seen worse. I mean, you know, that's
I infuse, Mom.
Everybody has a preference. So
I infuse,
just
I
saying.
respect yours. I don't want any part of that shit.
I bring my own oil.
Oh Lord.
I bless my own popcorn.
And it is not the oil of heaven.
But if I never went to the movie theater alone, I would never have known this. And actually, with this particular person that I wrote this Dear John letter to, they actually said that to me at one point during this year. They actually said, "You always know what you want."
Because you date
guys don't have to search out.
And that's what I'm saying, because you date you. When you learn you, then it makes a better person for the relationship, because you can give a list of what you.
Yeah, but they got to stay awake when I'm asking. When they ask me for the list and then they go to sleep, don't.
Listen, because one of the things that I you so like, yeah, what you want? Oh, you still going? I'll check back in 1 more minute.
Amen to our grannies for giving us.
Listen, I think about it like this. You know, when you know what you want, it makes it easier for the next person, because you can identify and tell them in direct detail what you need. Like when I have a rule book. I don't have it no more, but I used to have a rule book growing up. I call it the 3 C's. You gotta have cash, car, crib. Now, all those have subsidiaries hanging on them. If you don't have a car, that means I gotta come pick you up. If you don't have a crib, that means you gotta stay with me. If you ain't got no money, that means I'm gonna pay for everything. No. So now I used to have, that was my first thing. Then I created my 10 commandments. My 10 commandments, the first thing is you got to have a working relationship with God. Now, I ain't saying you got to go to church every day and be a holy roller. I ain't saying that. But you got to know who he is for you. Secondly, your credit need to be good, because 2 broke people can't do nothing. Then this list goes down through the other 8. But those are my standards. Those are the things that I required. As I got older, I had to bend some, because it was like everybody is not where you need them to be. But if you see potential in a person, potential, not lust. Potential. You see potential in a person. This goes back to the 15 kids and the baby mama. If you see the potential in a person and you see that she is accepting the help that you are offering, and you see that you may have connections because you didn't talk and you didn't started to walk this thing with this person, now I help you get where you need to be. That's the dynamic of a man, because I'm gonna give you all that I got and then some to help you get where you want to be in life. You
So
know what
tell
I'm
me, why
saying?
does it have to be so hard though? Why does the relationship between Mars and Venus have to be so hard? Why does it have to be
Communication.
hard?
I think
Easy,
it's communication.
easy,
Yeah.
because in the stars, Mars and Venus is nowhere close to each other.
What were you
That's
saying,
astrology.
token white guy?
I said to get it in. That's why it has to be hard.
Nah,
This dude is idiot. He's an
can't
idiot.
get nowhere if you ain't.
I was trying to do the
Yeah.
Charlie Brown face. I was trying to do the Charlie Brown face, but
If-
anyway.
All right, anything,
If
all right.
I
Can't
can,
get far if
I'm,
you ain't.
I'm telling you, if you're
I
dealing
just
with
gotta
a
call him
wet,
an idiot.
if you're dealing with a wet noodle at the time, I'm pretty sure she's gonna get up.
Never had that problem.
Me either, sir.
But taking a philosophical point of view,
Mm-mm.
if you are not hard about anything in life, how the fuck you gonna get anywhere? How
Okay.
you gonna get past the stuff that is intentionally set in front of you, that is made to test your strength? If
But see,
if you ain't hard about yourself, then everybody else is just gonna take advantage of you. So if you don't show up, if you ain't up, if you ain't on point for you, then you gonna be that limp noodle.
Ice know. What I say, big sister, all the time. Either you roll with me or get rolled over. And in anything, it clears out. It clears out all doubt. So either you on the team with me, or I'm gonna leave you in the process anyway.
I'm dealing with something right now, y'all, that I just don't have the energy to go back and forth, that I just want to just write it off and move forward. Like I did in very much the same manner that I did with my children. Like, I'm just gonna move forward. I ain't got time for the rigmarole. Like, to me, I want my life to be relatively happy. Let me tell you what I mean by that. Because everything ain't smelling like roses.
Mhm.
Sometimes there's some poop in the air.
Mhm.
I got it. But for me, I just don't see why certain things have to be hard and stressful and tense. Everything just doesn't have to be that way. And I'm not going to allow you to bring me into that headspace with you.
Yeah.
So I'll either walk away,
Mhm.
or now that don't mean I'm not gonna tell you what I think.
Oh, because we know you gonna tell us what you think. Thank you,
Okay.
Lord. We gonna say what's on our mind.
But I can't function. I personally can't function if I am in a state of chaos and stress all the time, anxiety all the time. And if you want to live in that spot constantly, then I just can't be around you. I gotta go.
Okay, so I got something. Okay, and I'm gonna say it like this: all men are not mature. You have grown boys
Mhm.
in life, especially now with millennials. I mean, flat out, they don't know too much of nothing.
Okay, this man wasn't a millennial. This man is not a millennial.
No,
Oh,
I'm not
okay.
saying I'm not saying that he was. I'm just saying speaking to the content of general under us.
Yeah.
Okay. So you think about it. A man if he doesn't know something, he would try to figure it out so he can know it. But
But
you
he has to
have
want to figure it out.
that's what I'm saying to you. That's what I'm saying to you. So if he has the ability to go say, I'm going to figure this out to see what's going to work in this dynamic, that's a part of being a man. Now, on the flip side of that is, can you teach things and can you do things that you don't know? No, you can't. So you think about the people, and I'm not talking about this guy, I'm just talking about men in general.
Mhm.
Some of the things that they lack because parents stopped teaching. You know what I'm saying? I remember the days where, you'll be in the kitchen with your mama learning how to cook. That's men and women. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Everybody needed to know how to do laundry. That's
Mhm.
men and women. They learn in the old household, they grew up learning those things. I learned how to write a check for my grandmother when I was 7.
Mhm.
So if you don't have those things, then it frustrates the person who has those things and know those things. But the man deals with what is called pride a lot. He wants
Oh,
to put on the persona that he knows and he doesn't have a clue, and
Okay.
he would never accept saying, okay, can you teach me that? And that be the holdup on a lot of things. That's why you got these grown boys portraying as men, but they don't have a clue.
oh, I have an experience with one where he was just as long-winded as I am. And
Oh, that's
and
forever.
the thing,
Y'all didn't never stop talking.
man, and I didn't even realize it until he just started recently stalking. But bottom line, I helped this dude out, like put money in his hand, everything, because we had a decent, or so I thought, friendship. And the perspective I had was totally different from where he was viewing me. None of this came up until the subject of money. And when it came down to it, this person was already going through some really bad issues with the opposite sex that had nothing to do with me. I am older than this person by about 12 years. And what got me was the way they wanted to get angry and upset and project their feelings. And I was not accepting that. And at the end of the day, it came down to, if it ain't A and if it ain't B, I can't see how this is making sense for either one of us. And I'm not gonna buy into this. Just being normal. And what I'm seeing, that grown boy come out, all of that immaturity and projecting because you're unstable to begin with. And so things started coming up, drunk ships, loose lips, or whatever. Homeboy drink a lot. So I'm starting to see a lot of things come out because they're admitting it. It's like you never know that this pride, that this dysfunction, that this immaturity resides until you get to a grown up issue such as money or such as business manager or whatever that adult people take responsibility for. And you start to see how that person really is and how they think or value you or lack of when grown-up situations come about and that person reacts to the point where the immaturity is so great you have no choice but to walk away,
You know
because
what?
it's going to take you down to the point where you either on a level or you are going to reverse all the growth that you have done to get to the point where you just all that is out the window.
You know what?
And
I learned Red Dragon that from older people, because that's what I hang around with. That's what I came
right,
up with. That's why I'm so ahead. So
yes,
I I learned this. They say you don't know a person until you stay with them.
Mm.
True. That's very
I've never lived with this person, but yeah, I see
no,
what you mean
no, but I'm just saying you don't really know a person until you
until
stay
you
with
live.
them.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Now this will go against all church ethics. From where I grew up, you like you better not live with nobody. You're gonna be shacking. I'm gonna tell
Can't be
y'all in the
shacked
20.
up.
I'm gonna tell y'all in the 21st century. You better go stay with them.
So it's been my experience that, again, we are the sum total of our experiences, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so you have people who have lived a life of toxicity,
Mm.
and so that's all they know. So if you say something, you're in this relationship and you say something that offends them somehow, or requires them to look at themselves in a different way, because they're okay telling you about you,
Mm-hmm.
but we don't like to hear about ourselves,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so if you say something that remotely makes them have to think about why they're doing what they're doing to you in that moment, then there's some people who, because of the toxicity that they've learned, now they're in fight or flight, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm in fight. My back is up against the wall because you
Mhm.
pushed me up against the wall.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm in fight or flight mode, and I'm going to hit you below the belt with something.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to take something that's yours and not give it back. I'm going to take your toys and not give it back. I'm going to say something to you that offends you, and I'm saying it to you so that I can't offend you because you've hurt me somehow.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
So that's not an adult response.
No, not at all.
It's okay. It can be an adult response, but it's not a adult response of a person who is healthy.
Right.
Mm.
Right.
Yeah.
And so there's a response of a person who is broken,
Broken and
Yeah.
wounded.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So I remember years ago, I was talking to a young lady and she had just moved into her apartment. And she asked me one thing. It was middle of winter, snow on the ground. I told Ice this a while ago, but she asked me, "Can you stay with me in my apartment the first night?" I was like, "Nah, I got stuff. I got stuff to do. I got to get to what I got to get done." So she had the audacity, and I'm like, I mean, we was dating for a long period of time, at least almost 4 years, 3 or 4 years. And she had the audacity to take my keys so I couldn't get in my car and go to where I was supposed to go. And I was like, okay, well, God, you gonna take my keys. I'm me. I know me. So I was in Missouri at the time and snow on the ground, about probably at least a good 3 to 4 feet of snow. And I could put on my coat and I walked from Gravois and Grand to Blair and Grand.
Oh.
Yeah, apparently that's a long way, y'all. We don't know.
Oh, baby, that's He
So-
walked 2 different cities.
So the funny thing about it, I left out, I never forget it. I left out about 10:45 and I was so hot and mad, I made it there about 11:45, almost
Oh,
an
that's some
hour.
power walking for your
I,
behind.
I was so upset that you would just have the audacity to try to contain me when I said no, that I didn't want to do something, that you thought it was right to take my keys and think that you were going to ground me from being who I am. And when I came back with the next set of keys, one of my cousins actually took me back over there the next morning got my keys and got my car and just left out. She had a problem with me from then on. But you caused that. You caused that. But you want me to feel bad for what you caused. That was crazy.
Yeah,
That
that's
was crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I mean, like, who does that? I'm not finna argue with you. There's a difference between debating with you and arguing. I'm not gonna argue with you. I'm not gonna argue with nobody. I'm gonna say what I gotta say, and either you can take it to heart or you can move on, or we can both move on. But I'm not gonna sit there and argue with you and waste my air, and my good energy on what you're doing. And that's what we need to come to a consensus and find out what works for a relationship to be productive, not counterproductive.
right.
And you got a lot of people out here that say that they're in relationships, and these women out here and these men out here now, they ain't built on nothing. My
Mm-mm.
grandmother was married for 65 years.
Mhm.
I mean, longevity. It's just I in the family that I'm in, I have been a witness to longevity, and it
Yeah,
ain't always been smooth.
no.
It ain't always been smooth. I done heard some stuff in the back room. I didn't kept it pushing because it wasn't my business. Y'all got to figure it out. But it's the same thing with us now. You know, just relationships here. You know what I'm saying? That we have with each other. We got to take the time to learn that person and build that person. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, we joke and we clown, but at the end of the day, I do anything for anybody that's on this on this show, on this panel. You know what I'm saying? And most of them know that, you know? So I mean,
Likewise. My
Last
bad.
words. Token white guy, last words. Go ahead.
Um, it's always a pleasure being on here. I know it's been a couple weeks. I was excited for this. Um, talking about long-term marriage and relationships. I look at both my sides of my family, and my dad, my mom. It's amazing to see somebody married to each other for 70 years, and on my mom's side, it was 63 years before both of my grandpas passed away. And it's not always easy. It's just it's a lot of work, but they managed to do it. So if you want a successful relationship, put in the work.
hmm, yeah.
Red Dragon, last words.
I think that a lot of us need to do some shadow work. Like a lot of people need to look within before they go out to put a label or a want on a type of relationship or situationship or friendship or partnership. I think going within, no matter what age or stage you are in life, should be a priority before wanting to connect yourself to somebody else's life, balance yourself, because getting out here and attaching yourself to somebody else's energy can be detrimental or it can be an enhancement. The choice is yours.
So the gentleman today on the panel talked about women telling lies. So as we go out, I'm gonna say this. Men, you don't have to lie either to most women. There are some women who need you to lie to them. Okay, I'm
Mhm.
just gonna tell you the truth. But there are women like me who don't need you to lie. We need you to tell us honestly, truthfully, what it is that you are wanting and needing or looking for or whatever, because then we will hold ourselves to a particular standard, and we will decide with all of the information if we want to be with you and do whatever that is you're trying to do. For example, if a woman asks you point blank, are you willing to be in a committed relationship? Are you looking for a fuck buddy? And if you're only looking for a fuck buddy and she has asked you that point blank, you probably need to say, I just want a fuck buddy.
Mm-hmm.
Because here's the deal. If she agrees to be your fuck buddy based on how she handles herself with fuck buddies, it probably involves the same money you were going to spend to take her out on a date and all of that. You just need to put all of that money you were going to spend to take her to the dinner and all of that, put it in a Cash App.
Or Zelle or Venmo.
Okay. And then she can be your fuck buddy. But now this doesn't require her to be there when you want her or when you want to talk to her. It only requires her to show up like a prostitute. Because this is what you really want. So just like I say to women that they should know what they want, because a man cannot read your mind. He can't. Unless he happens to be clairvoyant, and most people are not clairvoyant. A man cannot read your mind. You should know what you want, whether it's a committed relationship and what that means, whether it's you want to be a thought, a hoe, and a prostitute. Go back and look at thought theory. We talked about this. Okay. You want to be a fuck buddy and you want them to put Cash App and just put whatever bling bling and blam blam in your Cash App, whatever. Okay. No, hey, no judgment here. Just these are the types of things that can happen. Choose. Know what you want. State what you want. But men, if a woman doesn't want to be your fuck buddy, don't say, okay, I'm going to be in a committed relationship with you and pretend that you're going to do that when you really don't want to be there.
Ain't gonna work. Ain't gonna work.
No.
Yeah,
it doesn't need to be hard.
Yeah, just say what you're looking for and just keep it moving. Because I can tell you, it's plenty of people out there that will do what you want for less.
I mean, if you're gonna spend, I'm gonna look at the receipt, and you're gonna spend $80 at dinner, and then you're gonna spend for the hotel room. You've spent a good $100 right there. Put that in my Cash App.
I come and earn it every dollar. I mean, for real.
It's just real talk. I mean,
don't waste my time.
Men are so much worse at it, though.
Don't waste my time.
Mm-hmm.
You have to know the woman, though. It is true. You have to know if it's a woman like me who's gonna say, "Hey, baby, listen, don't waste my time. Let me decide if I want to be your fuck buddy, and if I say I do, then put the money in my Cash App." But that don't mean I'm gonna call you, talk to you. I ain't gonna do all of that because you're getting in the way of this man over here that I could actually be in a relationship with. He can't find me if you over here jacking with me. Because you're taking my attention away from looking at these other people over here who want to do right by me.
I highly agree. I think, see, this is a situation in the country. People are so hypersensitive on what needs to be said. Just say what it is. You know, like old people used to say, I'm gonna call a spade a spade. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? And how you present that information to people, you either gonna accept it or you not. It ain't gonna hurt you to say no, it ain't. It might hurt you to say yeah, depending on who the person is. But you know, it just depends on the dynamic of that person. Like me and my sister hate this word, transparency. We hate that word because the United States is not transparent about nothing, but they use it all the time. We got to be transparent. No. But this is the thing. Just say what needs to be said and get to the point of the matter and keep it moving. You know?
I know, men, if you just want to be a hoe, come on and be my hoe, because I got money to throw your way. You ain't got to pretend like you really trying, like you about something when you just
Well,
broken.
I ain't
and
got
you
no
need
money to throw at no man. I'm sorry.
I was just gonna
Hey,
say, you got some money to throw at a man.
let me
I ain't
tell you,
throwing no
this
money at
is
no
man
man.
you
out
throwing
here that
numbers.
will finesse
Listen,
and always try
guys.
to put up a front.
No,
And
I'm just saying,
Guys,
but you,
hold on,
because
hold
I was
on,
gonna say your Facebook is gonna blow up off
hold
that.
on.
I'm telling you, I
Guys,
done
tell me.
Cost 100 fucking grand to one woman. And I've been with 256 girls. Do the math, figure that out.
Now listen, I want the men. We gotta go, but listen, men. I want y'all to tell me if this is wrong. Pretty much down to my father, like pretty much men throughout my life have always said to me, "You don't have money to spend on a man." And I watched this as my son grew up, right? Because when he was interested in whatever he was interested in, whether it was he needed to go buy his Game Boys, when he started, liking the girls and he wanted to go take on a date, whatever he was interested in, that's where his finances went. Regardless, men, woman, whatever, his finances went in what he was interested in. So my father would say things like that. Not that if I'm in a relationship that I wouldn't spend money on this man I'm in a relationship with. Not that. But that a man puts his time and his finances exactly where he wants them to be.
It's an investment. I mean, it's an investment. Even though it can be the wrong investment with the wrong person, it's an investment.
Right. So
And
I don't.
and the thing about men, because they work with money so well in different things, men want a return.
I was just gonna say that. What's your return on your
Want to
investment?
want to talk about relationships? I'll end on this because I'm actually getting ready to go meet baby sister, my brother-in-law, my parents for and take Granny out. We're going to brunch. But there was one day my grandpa, from this basement, he went upstairs and he poked his head over the stairs and he asked my grandma, he goes, "How much money do we have in the bank?" And she's like, "X amount of dollars." And he's like, "Okay." And he just trusted her. She didn't have to work. I mean, she did work. Don't get me wrong. I don't want to make that sexist. She took care of the kids, the laundry, the dishes, like all that stuff. And he went out and made the money. But he trusted her like 100%. Like this is exactly what we have in the bank. And I still watch her like take care of the bills and everything. It's amazing. And I'm like, God bless. And
Yeah. I mean, I think you're right. I think you just gotta know who you with, and you gotta trust their ability. And don't this is what we say all the time. Stay out my lane. Let me do what I'm designed to do.
hey, I'm
And
gonna
you
keep
do
my side of the street clean.
right, and you do
Your
what you
side of the
designed to
street
do, and
clean.
we meet in the middle, man.
Good.
You know what I'm saying? It's just as easy as that. But people complicate things. So we finna shake out. So you got anything else, Ice, you want to say?
I think we said enough. We probably had part 2 on this one because we
Right. Yeah.
Man, we do. This was really good because I think the balance and the lack thereof we should shed light on. I mean, I learned a lot.
Yeah. I mean, so let's get out of here. So we want to thank everybody on our panel, Token White Guy, Red Dragon, the poet, Ice, and myself for, doing another show of Insane Rhetoric. We hope that if something has been said to enlighten your relationships on every level, not just physical, when platonic or mental, whatever the case may be. We want to just let you know that Insane Rhetoric is here to better our community, to better each other, to help each other, because the world is what? Upside down, and we're trying to make it what? Right side up. You know what I'm saying? We're trying to do what we can and do our own part in our own corner. you can touch bases with us. We are on every platform that you can spell, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, we're on every freaking thing. Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, and we are actually heard on all 5 continents. I mean 7.
No, 4.
He said 5, 4. Oh my God.
I know it's
St.
7.
Louis Public Schools.
I know it's 7 continents, so I'm just being funny. That's an inside joke with me and I. So I like
I
so
know
we
he's like, who
heard
gonna catch
we
that?
we're heard on all 7 continents. I mean, in different countries, no doubt about it. Listen,
Mm.
we just want to let you know that hey, Insane Rhetoric is out here and we doing our thing. Hey, you can leave questions, comments on our real talk page on our website. But here we go. If you say you gonna blow anything up, if
Yeah.
you say you gonna assassinate anybody,
Yeah.
if you say you doing some wrongful things on our page,
I'm a tattletale. I'm gonna tell it.
I'm gonna watch you go to jail while she tells on you, because I'm not a snitch. I'm gonna watch you and laugh at you while you get
You
marched
say it
down
like
to the
that, you
police
deserve
department.
it.
I'm gonna laugh because that's just who I am. And I would think you would know better than to do these things
I'm telling
in
you, I'm
this
a
world that
tattletale.
we live in.
Hey, I'm a crazy white boy with 19,000 rounds and 17 guns in a
I,
bulletproof vest. Don't
I,
come at me, bro.
I'm trying to tell you. Listen, if you do anything wrong,
Tattletale
say
on you.
anything like, listen, hey, she gonna tell on you. I'm just
It's
gonna
all
laugh.
legal.
I'm just gonna sit back and laugh. And last thing, just remember to enjoy the ride that is.